To exist is to survive. To live is to choose. Many survive, few truly live. Those who merely exist obey, react, reproduce. Those who truly live create, choose, feel. To exist is to follow rules. To live is to write new ones. Socrates believed the human soul thirsts for meaning, and that the absence of this meaning is what leads so many people to anguish, anxiety, and emptiness. It's not the lack of external things, it's the lack of an inner why. And here it's worth remembering another thinker who drank from the same source, Viktor Frankl, and the meaning of life. Viktor Frankl, Austrian psychiatrist and concentration camp survivor, said, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." Frankl created logotherapy, an approach that places meaning at the center of mental health. And his thinking has deep roots in Socrates. Both believed that human beings need a purpose, a direction, that without it, life loses its vital force. Frankl saw people dying in the camps, not just from hunger, but from lack of hope, lack of meaning. And he said that those who have a why can endure anyhow. Nietzsche, Kierkegaard, Epictetus, echoes of Socrates. Nietzsche said that life is suffering, but that we can turn that suffering into strength if we are authentic. He called us to live with intensity, with passion, with courage, a spirit that traces back to that same Socratic impulse, to live with truth. Kierkegaard, the father of existentialism, spoke of the despair of living a life that is not your own, and that true faith is born only when you dive into the abyss of doubt and responsibility. Epictetus, the Stoic, said, "It's not things that disturb us, but the opinion we have about them." And like Socrates, he preached the power of reason, of choice, of awareness. Are you awake or just with your eyes open? The Socratic question is like an uncomfortable mirror. Maybe you're making money, but feeling empty. Maybe you have many followers, but no real connection. Maybe you have a diploma, but no motivation. And maybe, just maybe, you're merely existing. But here comes the good news. You can change at any moment. You don't have to quit everything. You don't have to become a monk. Just take the first step. Start observing yourself.
Listening to yourself.
Asking, honestly, what makes my heart beat faster? You don't need to change the whole world tomorrow. You just need to start changing your inner world today, Socrates would say. True transformation begins when you stop deceiving yourself. You can keep living a role that was imposed on you, or you can write your own script. You can follow the crowd, or you can take the risk of being who you really are. And here comes a new question. What would you do if you weren't afraid? How many times does fear dictate what you do or don't do? Fear of disappointing, fear of failing, fear of losing, fear of being judged. But a full life is not the absence of fear. It's the presence of purpose. And when you have a purpose, fear shrinks, because you know the reason behind what you're doing. Philosophy as a practice for life. Socrates believed philosophy wasn't something to be trapped in books. It was a way of living, a tool for achieving inner freedom. That's why his mission wasn't to teach answers, it was to awaken questions. In the public square of Athens, he stopped ordinary people and invited them to reflect on goodness, justice, truth, happiness. He believed every human being is capable of deep thought, and so are you. Maybe they taught you that thinking too much is bad, that you should just do what needs to be done, that it's better not to question, to avoid suffering. But philosophy shows us the opposite. Suffering doesn't come from questioning, it comes from living without meaning. As Jean-Paul Sartre, another great existentialist thinker, once said, "We are condemned to be free." In other words, not choosing is already a choice, and you will be responsible for it. Death as a teacher. Socrates knew he was going to die. When he was judged and had the chance to save his life, he refused. Why? Because for him, worse than dying was living against his conscience. And that leads us to reflect. If today were your last day, would you be proud of the life you lived? Of the decisions you made? Of the person you were? Death, as feared as it may be, is a silent advisor. It reminds us of what truly matters. It reminds us that time is short, and wasting it on an empty life is a slow way to die inside. The call to inner freedom. Socrates believed that true freedom doesn't lie in doing everything you want, but in wanting only what is essential. And that sounds a lot like what the Stoic Epictetus, also influenced by Socrates, taught when he said, "No man is free if he is not master of himself." You can live in a mansion, drive a luxury car, travel the world, and still be a slave to desires, appearances, anxiety, fear, but you can also live simply and lightly and feel truly free. Freedom is not doing everything. Freedom is not being a prisoner of anything. Reconnecting with what's essential. Socrates, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, Kierkegaard, Frankl, each in their own way pointed to the same destination. A life with purpose, a life with integrity, a life with awareness. But to get there, you must reconnect with what is essential for you. What makes you feel alive? Which moments in your life brought you true peace? When was the last time you did something just because it made sense to your soul? Maybe you're waiting for the right moment, but it will never come. The moment is now. Turning off autopilot can take you only so far. But after that, you have to take the wheel. If you don't, someone else will do it for you. Society, algorithms, comparisons, past traumas. Socrates invites us to take back control. Start asking questions like, does this represent me? Do I truly believe in this? What am I cultivating in my life without realizing it? When you start questioning yourself, you begin to wake up. And waking up, it hurts at first, but then it sets you free. Living is an act of courage, make no mistake. To truly live takes courage. The courage to be different, the courage to disappoint expectations, the courage to fail and try again. But it also requires something even harder, the courage to look within. Because when you look honestly, you see not only what is beautiful, but also what is unbalanced. And changing that takes work. But it is the only path to a life with soul, building a true purpose. There is no such thing as a ready-made purpose. You won't find it like someone who finds a coin on the street. You build it step by step as you get to know yourself better. Listen to your real values. Choose what nourishes your soul. Learn from your pain, and don't give up on living truthfully. Purpose is not what you do, it's the intention behind what you do. You can sell bread, sweep streets, write books, play violin, teach, and in all of that, there can be deep purpose if it's connected to your why. The legacy of Socrates today. Socrates didn't have a phone. He didn't have the internet, but his message crossed centuries because he spoke of something eternal, the human soul. And his legacy is more relevant today than ever. In a world of superficiality, he invites us to depth. In a world of distraction, he invites us to attention. In a world of consumption, he invites us to consciousness. Don't live just to pay bills. Don't live just to please others. Don't live to fill a resume that's empty of meaning. Live to honor your essence. You living or just existing? This question is still being asked, and now it's yours. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to start with the right questions. And if you've made it this far, it's because a part of you is already awakening. Maybe it's the part that has always known life is more than chasing empty goals. Maybe it's the part that wants to stop surviving and start truly living. Socrates already gave you the key. Know thyself. And the next step is yours. If you enjoyed this deep dive, I recommend watching the video, The Secret of the Stoics, How to Find Peace in Any Situation, where we explore the path to serenity even in the midst of chaos. See you there?